ability to sustain ourselves if we sacrifice and unite and come together. Okay? But the powers in place now want to be sure that that never happens. Have you ever heard of the National Security Council Memorandum 46 of the United States? Have you ever heard of that before?
I heard about them, but
Yes.
I don't know much about it.
National Security Council Memorandum 46 was written by Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was the National Security Advisor under Jimmy Carter's administration back in the 70s. And Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote this document that said, and I quote, "We must never allow blacks to unite. We must never allow blacks in America to unite. We must never allow blacks in Africa to unite. We must never allow blacks in America and blacks in Africa to unite with each other. Because if we do, it will become a threat to the national security of the United States of America." Now, this is a document. Anybody watching right now, you can Google it. Just go to Google and Google NSC for National Security Council Memorandum 46. And that document will come up and you can read it for yourself. Now, here's what I'm show you how this thing works, Moses. The man who wrote this, right, had a long-term agenda in his head, because the man who wrote this back in the 70s is now the chief advisor of foreign policy for President Barack Obama. He selected Barack Obama when he was in college. So Barack is carrying out this man's agenda. You follow what am I making sense to you? So this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And because we're so drugged with looking for the Lord to come rescue us. We're so drugged with having a good time in church and clapping our hands and jumping up and down that we don't even know what's going on around us, man. And that's why we can't heal ourselves. So the first thing that's necessary for Africa to heal itself is we have to renew our minds for real. We have to get back to, we have to open our eyes. Stop being led like sheep to the slaughter. Stop digesting, stop hearing and swallowing everything that's been given to us by our oppressor. You know, man, I've been here 2 weeks. The first couple of days I was here, I had the wonderful but yet at the same time horrific experience of being in Cape Coast Dungeon, an Armenia dungeon. And when I was in those dungeons, I had visions. I was able to tap into the horror that our people went through at the hands of European slave traders. Now, mind you, what blew my mind was this, brother. Right upstairs over the male dungeon at Cape Coast Castle, and right upstairs over the female dungeon at Armenia, was the chapel where they held service, where they had church. These people had church upstairs while Africans were enslaved downstairs underneath them, in agony and pain and horror, crying, defecating on themselves because they didn't have a bathroom to go to. You know, what kind of people could do a thing like that? And then those are the people that taught us the religion that we now practice. That's why we can't get any better.
All Africans, we must realize ourselves. That is what Dr. Ray Hagins, my guest on the program, is saying today. I tell you, today is a mix of education and, if you like, a way that can really transform you. He said he also researched into all this and he found himself a free man. You can also be free today. Now, there was a statement. Yes. There was a statement that I was at a conference and 3 past presidents were there, and there was a quarrel, not a fight as it were. One president said, we don't know, former president said, we don't know why Africa, up till now, there's no free movement of trade amongst ourselves, even at the ECOWAS level, the sub-regional level. And another man said, one past president again, also said, well, we don't know, we need to really work to ensure that it's free movement of trade. And a chief who was there, he said, he was the chairman of the program, he said, I'm happy that the 2 former presidents were saying they didn't know why there had not been free movement of trade. Then who should do it? Okay. Should it be my responsibility as a traditional leader or your responsibility as past leaders of various countries. Now, who will liberate Africa? I want to put
Who will liberate Africa?
Who will liberate Africa?
Africans.
How do we go about that?
Now, here's how this goes. We're talking about a very sinister power that's in place. Here, remember this, and let me see if I can get this, say it so they grab this, so the audience will grab this. When you have told so many lies over the centuries and piled those lies on top of each other, and those lies have given you the power over the people that you lied to, you must never tell the truth. If your control and your maintenance and your prosperity comes from the control that you have, from the people that you have lied to, you cannot and you must never tell the truth. Because if you do, all right, if you tell the truth about one of your earlier lies, those people will see you for what you are, and they'll stop giving you power. It's what empowers those people who would suppress us is our belief in their agenda. As long as we believe in their agenda, as long as we believe that they're coming bearing gifts, we will always be suppressed by them. That's the agenda. So in order for Africa to be free, Africans are going to have to do it. The people of Africa, not one person, will never, ever have another Kwame Nkrumah. Never. Kwame Nkrumah was a Christ for Ghana. Kwame was a Christ for Africa. Kwame was a Christ for all black people. Kwame did some stuff, man, that won't ever get done again because the powers that be will never allow that situation to exist again. Okay? So since a leader is not going to be able to come and set us free, each African is going to have to get their mind together. Each person is going to have to become your personal responsibility to start asking questions. Start thinking. Brother Moses, the most painful thing for many of our people is having to think. We don't want to think. We want to go and listen to people tell us stuff. And see, that's what religion does. Religion doesn't tell you how to think. It tells you what to think. And as long as somebody is dictating what to think to you, they will ever control you, forever. So Africans must start developing the habit of stop listening to leaders. Start doing your own. God doesn't just speak to this one man or this one woman and this one man tells everybody. I tell the members of the African village, I'm your teacher. I'm not your leader. God gave me to you to teach you so that you can go teach others. As long as we hold this, for example, the title of the term pastor, for example. I don't use that title because the word pastor means a shepherd. And in order to be a shepherd, you have to have sheep. And sheep are the dumbest animals on the planet. You can't teach sheep. So as long as our people see themselves as sheep under a pastor or a shepherd, we'll never be free. We have to start learning how to listen to the Spirit of God in our spirit. Not according to a religion. Listen to the Spirit of God in us. That will set us free.
Listen to the Spirit of God in us. That will set us free. So says my guest, Dr. Ray Hagins, a spiritual leader and a musician, a pilot. How come you're a pilot?
Actually,
because you never mentioned that you went to any aviation school.
Yes, I did go to aviation school.
All right.
Yes,
okay.
I did. I studied aviation science. You have to do that in America to become a pilot, and I'm a private pilot. Okay, I don't fly the big jets to carry people. The reason why I became a pilot is because I wanted something else to do. I got 5 degrees. I said I'm tired of sitting in school getting degrees. So let me find something else to do. I'm the kind of person that I'm always going to the next level. So when I was in the Marines, I'm an ex-Marine. When I was in the Marines, part of my MOS was working on the flight line in aviation. And when the jets would take off, I said, wow, one of these days I want to do that, you know. So after getting my doctorate in Christian counseling, I said, okay, let me go get my pilot's license. So I got my pilot's license so I can fly myself around.
So you fly yourself alone?
Oh, yeah.
Like how many times have you done that?
Oh, man, I have over 200 flight hours.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including your daughters at times?
Well, my daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, she hasn't flown with me yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Maybe
we just, and Steve, we just
maybe
talked
she's
about
afraid
it.
of the
No,
dark.
she's not afraid. No, she's a thrill seeker. She's not afraid at all. Yeah.
Well, I will tell her to join you the next time you want to fly. To
Okay.
enjoy the breeze.
Well, she's probably going to end up doing that herself after a while.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you also advocate for developing strong communities
Yes.
through healthy and productive families.
Yes.
How do you go about that?
The family unit is the strength of any community. Okay? And and that's a part of our job as well in the African village, to rebuild families. You see, we live in a society, for example, there was a program put in place in the United States. Well, it's actually all over the world. But the people who put it in place were really from the United States. Margaret Sanger, for example, Clarence Gamble of Procter & Gamble. These people were called eugenicists. And the eugenicist program, by the way, eugenicist comes from, well, the word Eugene means good genes, right? And of course, they feel that black people are dysgenic. And they feel the white people are eugenic. So they're eugenicists, okay? And eugenicists feel that to continue the process of suppressing the people who are dysgenic, we must disintegrate the family. Must disintegrate the family unit. So therefore, things have been put in place, programs have been put in place for the disintegration of the family. And my job is to reverse that. Okay? It's really unfortunate when a program is in place and the mother can do better without the father in the home. That's wrong.
You belong to so many organizations, so members of several committees, several organizations. How do you cope with all of these and the African Village and Cultural Center?
I do well, the African Village and Cultural Center is my priority. That's number one. That is the platform from which I reach the world and try to heal the minds of our people. Other organizations and fellowships that I belong to is just a part of being a part of social fellowship and organizations and helping other community groups, things on that wise. Yeah.
Now, you say you came to Ghana to build a hospital?
Actually, one of the members in our church and our headquarters, they repatriated here, and they have land here, and they came back to the United States and told us that they wanted to build a medical clinic because the people in the immediate villages have nowhere to go for medical attention. So, of course, they're members of the African Village, and so we raised the money to break ground for a medical clinic here. It's right outside Elmina. In fact, they had their first medical clinic screening last week, and I think almost 200 people came. From surrounding villages. You'd be surprised, man, the stuff that our people just don't have. You probably wouldn't be surprised. You're from here, but I'm going back to America to tell the people there that we need to really get busy and start putting our resources into helping our brothers and sisters here in the motherland, because I love the value system here. In America, if you have a fine house, if you have a good car, if you have money in the bank, if you have a refrigerator full of food, you're rich. Here, if you have your family, if you have land, if you have your brothers and sisters to just run and play with and sit down together, you're rich. Which one is more important? This one here. That's the family.
That's why you like Africa.
I love Africa, man, simply because I feel good. I feel good when I'm here, man.
Wow.
When I come home, I see my people. I've been doing tours to Egypt every year for the last 12 years. I take a group over to do what I did in the beginning. I take them to do a field research of the temples, tombs, and pyramids of ancient Egypt. But Egypt is no longer an African country. It's in Africa. It's not in the Middle East. It's in Africa. But it's no longer African because the Arabs invaded Egypt in the 6th century. Okay, so ever since the 6th century, Egypt has been an Arab country. And when I go to Egypt, all I see is Arabs. When I first started going to Egypt, I saw Africans in Cairo. As soon as you get off the plane, they say, "Welcome home, Nubian Americans, welcome home." Now, you don't even see any black people in Cairo.
But looking at your color, you also want to say that's a very beautiful color. Black is beautiful.
It's wonderful.
But a lot of people want to turn white.
That's because they're out of their minds. That's my point. They want, you know, Brother Moses, I have so much footage, so many pictures that I took in the last 2 weeks here. Everywhere I went, I saw white Jesus, white Jesus, white Jesus, white Jesus, white. Everywhere I went. In black stores, been a big white Jesus. Black schools, been a white Jesus statue. White Jesus, white, everywhere. And that's what I mean. See,
and when they want to draw devil, they make it black.
Right, see, exactly. Or angel's food cake and devil's food cake. Why is white, you know, see, that's a part of that program. You see what I'm saying? So what we have to do is we have to reverse that. We don't love ourselves, man. We love another culture. We love another race better than we love ourselves. You know, I mean, there's a joke that's here in Ghana. I'm sure you might have heard it. I learned it since I've been here. And that is, if you're on your way to church on Sunday and see a white man, you can turn around and go home because you just saw Jesus. That we got to stop that, man. We have to get Africans to appreciate who they are. That's my assignment.
African, you must appreciate who you are. We must appreciate who we are. That is the assignment of Dr. Ray Hagins, to ensure that we are all free from the mind.
European mindset.
European mindset that
yes.
Until it is white, it can never be good.
Can I share this with you? I don't know if you've run out of time.
No, you mentioned it.
Edwin W. Smith. Don't take my word for what I'm saying, listeners. Edwin W. Smith did a book called The Golden Stool. It's on the Christianizing of Africa. He said in this book on page 135, he said, before you can Christianize the African, you must first Europeanize the African. That's our problem, brother. We don't know who we are.
Now, do we then say that we should also talk to some of our musicians? You are one of them, who have decided to go the way of Europeans, Americans, even in their music. You see, I've seen a guy who was denied a visa to travel to America. And he came back and he was telling me, Moses, I said, what is the matter with you? Talk like an African, my brother. So he changed his intonation as if he had traveled. No, must we do all of this because we want to be American? Because we want to imitate another man's culture?
Yeah, well, that's it. See, once your culture has been vilified, once the African culture has been demonized, it's something that anytime you say Africa, like I said, the name African Village, we meet resistance just because of our name in America. Whenever we say African Village, folks say, what's that? I talked to a black pastor, and he said, I told him I was a pastor of the African Village. He said, what, y'all got Africans in there or something? I said, yeah, like you. He said, what you mean like me? He didn't even realize he's an African. People literally despise the word Africa. Our people despise it. Yet white people come over here all the time because they know this is the Holy Land. Mother Africa is the land of God. This is where the people of God, this is where God first made man, in the motherland of Africa. And until we start loving Africa, until we start freeing Africa first, we as a people will never ever be free. Never ever be free. So we have to return, have to get some pride, some self-esteem, and let go of the program that's put us down in the first place. Once we do that, our businesses will flourish. We will return back to the people we were before the invaders came.
Now, have you been able to have attention from the government offices to tell them this message?
Say that one more time.
Maybe you've had opportunity in any government quarters to tell this message to them.
Oh, no, they're not going to let me do that. They're not going to let me do that. That's why I have my own television show. That's why I have my own radio show. That's why I have my own internet radio show. WBLR.com. People can hear me all over the world. and I say what I got to say, and I don't have to worry about them not liking it, you know. Yeah.
But you've been receiving a lot of attack?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Which is the most devastating that you received?
The most devastating attack I received was when our church was infiltrated. Somebody had sent a letter to the FBI, telling them that we were a hate group. And there's a program in the United States called the COINTELPRO. It's a program of the Department of Justice, FBI, CIA. And their job is to investigate hate-type groups. We're not a hate group, man. I don't teach hate. I just teach love for ourselves, that's all. And it's ironic that when you tell a black man or black woman to love yourself first, white people call that hate talk. So somebody sent a notice to the FBI. FBI came in and infiltrated our church and saw that we were wakening people up. So one night I was sitting at home, and a knock came on my door, and I got a court notice. They were trying to put me out of my church, a restraining order. I couldn't even come in my own pulpit. So, of course, needless to say, long story short, it was a 6-month court battle. We won that battle, and that was the worst fight I had. Yeah.
What would you like to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for telling the truth. That's my spiritual name is Sa-Ra Unkhotep Ma'akaru Satepenra. Sa-Ra means the Son of God. Unkhotep, Ankh means life, Hotep means peace. Ma'akaru means a truth teacher or a teacher of truth. Satepenra means chosen by God. So when you put that all together, you're saying a son of God who has been chosen by God to be a teacher of truth, bringing life and peace. So the one thing I want to be remembered for, the only thing I really want to be remembered for, is that I told the truth.
And that you have freed the mind of your people.
Yes. Well, the truth will do that. Yeah. If I tell the truth, minds will be free. And like I said, man, my listening audience right now is over 185,000 people, and it's growing exponentially each day. So they're listening.
They are listening. I do believe that everybody is also listening to him today. Dr. Ray Hagins is my guest on Trailblazers Africa. Before we go, I'd like for you to just give a message to the younger ones who are watching you today, and then maybe even to the leaders of Africa.
Okay. What I would say to the young people here in Mother Africa is, young people, start learning how to think. Start learning how to question what you've been told, what you've been taught. Myself and thousands of other Africans in the diaspora are looking for you. You are our future. You are our generations to come. Please hold on to our past cultures. Please hold on to the ways of our ancestors. Please do not allow these other cultures and other powers to come in here and steal your identity. You are the richest people on the planet, and we want to be who God made us to be. So don't sell out. Don't sell your soul for a couple of pieces of bread. Please don't do that.
And to the leaders?
To the leaders of our country, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid, okay? The ancestors, our ancestors, have always stood with us, okay? Of course, you're in a very strategic position as a leader. There are programs in place to see to it that you do what they want you to do. Do what you know is right. Do what you know is right. Even if it means your life, do what you know is right, because God and the ancestors will stand with you. Don't sell out Mother Africa. Please don't do that. It's not worth it.
Please don't sell our Mother Africa. Please don't do it. Even if they are going to kill you, don't sell our Mother Africa. Dr. Ray Hagins is a wonderful man to be with, I must say. And right in the studio with him is, I don't know, do I say one of your beautiful children?
Yes, she's my youngest daughter.
The youngest daughter.
My youngest daughter.
No, let me just tell you what she told me. I asked her, I said, would you like to marry an American? He said, black or white? I said, any color. He said, no to white, but yes to black.
That's right.
So please, if you know you're a white man, don't go near. If you do that,
Don't even try it.
don't even try. Don't try. Now, as a musician, I want to dance before we go.
I don't know how to dance.
No, you sing.
Playing is one thing. Dancing is another.
I know that.
My daughter, I was trying to dance the other day and she said, Daddy, please stop.
Why?
Please. She said, you're embarrassing me.
Wow.
Because I don't dance.
Wow, wow. But you sing
I
very
can
well.
sing a little bit, but I don't dance.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for passing by. It's a pleasure
Brother
having
Moses,
you
it
on the
has been an
program.
honor, man. Thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure.
I look to see you again.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been working with a lot of people. ID Johnson is here. Sammy is also right in the house. Not forgetting the contribution of Rue, the one I called the Lawrence. And just peeping in or breezing in like another African leader is Awal, Alhaji Awal, Kofi Anna. You know who I'm talking about. He's the editor of this program. Anyway, I want to say a big thank you to you, Ato and Ben. Daniel, I've done a very great work. Actually, is my associate producer for today's edition of Trailblazers Africa. My name is Moses Owopade. By the grace of God, I'll be with you again next week with another wonderful guest. Keep Africa a one family. And don't forget, whatever it will cost you, don't sell our mother, Africa. Bye-bye.